Now that Easter is over, which um, shout out to the Easter worshippers in Sri Lanka as they continue their process of recovery from the attacks there. Um, Something that I want to talk about in light of specifically that occurrence that you have throughout the world, uh, people gathering for a a holiday designed specifically to celebrate the resurrection of Jesus, the central figure of their um, religious faith, and yet you have churches that are trying to sell or I don't even know what the word would be for. Honestly, what I want to say is just trivialize the very existence of that holiday by having um, petting zoos and ride carnivals and ticket sales, um, just uh, playing second. Like it seems like every single year that especially like really large churches tend to just kind of they're trying to one up each other, up the ante above one another of what new, just absolutely absurd thing can they try to infuse into their Easter, Christmas, Palm Sunday um, worship services to make it more appealing to people that are not Christians. And I just don't understand that. The central focus of going to church on Christmas Eve, say, or Good Friday, on Easter is supposed to be to focus on, remember, and then celebrate the life of Jesus. When you put all this extra stuff in, it ends up just being a cloud of fog obscuring that central point. So that you have tons of people showing up because of the carnival, because of any other purpose other than to just worship Jesus. And that ends up bleeding over into the other 50 some weeks of the year where now every service, it seems, needs to be re-enhanced with this entertainment mentality. I find it just disturbing. I find it uh, I find it repulsive that um, if the way that you are worshiping Christ and the way that you are communicating the reasons to worship Christ is not evocative enough and provocative enough to cut people to the heart, then what you're doing is already wrong. And compiling upon that additional, just absurd and ridiculous distractions is not going to bring people even any more closer to Christ than what you are already doing. So, um, quite honestly, in a world where Christians are very really um, being tormented, tortured, persecuted for the act of believing in Christ, I find it to be utterly insulting to them and to Christ himself that we would play these games like this and that we would squander the freedom that we have to worship by any means that we choose to do so, um, and yet not. I'm just completely missing the point. So, um, it's I don't know. I think that's probably enough on this subject. Um, uh, it's something to consider if you're a pastor, if you're a church ministry leader, deacon member, whatever it is that you are. If you have any realm of influence, I think that um, it is incredibly important that you use that influence to try and prevent, by whatever means possible or necessary, this degradation and derogation from, um, I guess, honest to God worship, I guess, is a good way to explain it. So, um, is what it is. I hope you enjoyed your Easter. I hope that uh, that we can somehow turn this thing around.